up, gentlemen? So the term well-groomed is open to interpretation, but the 10 things we're talking about today are not. Today, we're going over the 10 biggest grooming don'ts, as in don't ever do these, or else you're gonna be freaking nasty. Gentlemen, and I personally find that unacceptable. If you agree, why don't you drop me one of these and be like, yo, Alpha, seriously, what's with the F-bombs? Passion. I am passionate about you not looking like a savage, and if that's wrong, I don't want to be right, gentlemen. If you agree, did you drop me one of these? I have not. It helps. It definitely helps. Konnichiwa. All right, the first grooming don't that you're gonna be like, what? And I'm gonna get some heat for this. Stop using natural products. They don't work. Fact, if you are using a natural deodorant, you stink. That is all. You stink. But Alpha, you stink. At least you will stink in about 10 minutes after you leave in the house. Natural deodorants don't work, in my humble opinion. Something else that doesn't work is natural skincare products. The question you need to ask yourself is, do you want to use a natural product or do you want it to work in terms of anti-aging? Because you can't have both. Natural, it's not natural. I don't want to use anything on my body that's not natural. Fine, then you're gonna age faster than I will, because I'm gonna use products that actually work. Now, I'm not saying they should be full of like toxic chemicals that cause puppies to go blind. You gotta stop believing the natural skincare hype. This is one of the biggest scams that is out there, all right? A company can say natural ingredients or stamp a little leaf on their packaging if they have anything in that product that has come from the earth. That is the definition of a natural ingredient. Gentlemen, it's bullshit. Buy what works, and natural doesn't work. The second biggest grooming don't is don't have bad brows, as in eyebrows, all right? So there are a few things we gotta talk about real quick. Number one, it's brows, plural. You need two. But in order to create two, you don't wanna ever shave your brow. Gentlemen, do not use a razor on your eyebrows. Face, yes. Testicles, absolutely. Brows, never. The whole reason why you don't want to use a razor on your brows, guys, is because when you shave, you are actually seeing a cross-section of the hair. When it grows back, they're all growing back at once, meaning that you're going to have a 5 o'clock shadow on your brow. Instead, what I'd recommend is always use a pair of high-quality tweezers. Pluck the hair. You're removing it from the root. And when it starts to grow back, it's growing back as a fine point as opposed to a big, thick cross-section of a hair. Never mess with the hairs above your eyebrows, guys. Think of them as supporting hairs. In order for your brows to look natural and like you're not doing too much to them, you want to make sure you're leaving some of the fine hairs above. Now, if you want to clean up underneath, that's fine. But like we said, don't look like a chick. Speaking of shaving, the third grooming don't that you should never do, as in don't ever do it, is shave your sideburns up too high. One of the worst things that absolutely F's up a dude's super sexy hairstyle is when he cuts off his sideburns right at the top of his ear. Guys, unless you are going with like a bald fade, you need to leave some sideburn action going. Now, in terms of super sexy sideburns, what I would recommend is right here, that little like knob that comes out from your ear. That is where you should actually be aiming for, all right? And then instead of cutting them straight across, what I'd recommend is angle them slightly. The whole premise is that this is going to add nice visual interest to your sideburns, helping them follow the natural contours of your jaw. Speaking of hair, yeah, you like that? I like it too, which is why I decided to keep it. Anyway, the fourth grooming don't. If you notice that you are starting to lose your hair, do not wait to stop it. Hair loss sucks. The worst thing that you can do when you start to notice something is going on is nothing. Guys, the earlier you act, the earlier you catch it, the sooner you can do something about it. Guys, there's a link down below to today's video sponsor, Bosley. That link is special. If you go through that special link, you can take the Bosley hair loss quiz. Guys, the quiz is totally free. It's going to ask you 4 questions. The other really cool thing about that link is that through there, you can actually schedule an appointment to go in and sit down with the Bosley counselor and talk to them about you and your hair loss. The other thing that I want you to do right now, not tomorrow, because like we said, guys, the earlier you catch it, the sooner you can do something about your hair loss. Hit the link down below and go download the completely free guide to hair loss and hair restoration. The guide is completely free. You also are going to get a $250 Bosley gift card. And so if you go in, sit down with the Bosley counselor, you can use that $250 Bosley gift gift card at Bosley. The other thing that you can do that I did through that link, guys, is go to Bosley RX. Bosley RX is a modern day approach to getting prescription hair loss medication shipped directly to your door. And if you go through that special link, guys, you're gonna get your first month of medication for free off of 2 of the plans. Guys, the deal is there are medications out there that can help you slow and stop your hair loss, but it takes you taking action and sticking your head in the sand and just waiting and playing it off like, oh no, it's not happening, or worse yet, trying to cover it up or comb it over. Gentlemen, you should never try and hide your hairline. If you're going bald and you're like, yo, I'm just gonna deal with it, good for you, congratulations, you look amazing. Shave your head, don't try and hide it. But if you are somebody like me who is not ready to lose your hair, hit the link down below and go check out Bosley. I'm telling you, you've got absolutely nothing to lose except more hair. Guys, hit the link down below, take the quiz, download the guide, get the gift card, and go see my boys over at Bosley. The 5th grooming, don't ever have a monster man bush. Gentlemen, here's the deal, right? Nobody wants to go downtown to visit Al if you got a big bunch of monster man bush, right? Not only is it unsightly in terms of like getting a lot of like pubes in your mouth if somebody would be so kind as to go down, you also need to think about the stink that this thing traps. Gentlemen, the fact is a big monstrous bush traps odor. The other thing I want you to remember is don't have fuzzy nuts. Just say no to fuzzy nuts. Gentlemen, take care of business. Now, I'm not saying you got to go all bald eagle action and look like a 10-year-old little boy, but if you want to take the bulk down, that would be recommended. The other beautiful thing is that the lower you go, the bigger it looks. The 6th biggest grooming don't that's still going on that I smell and see all over the place is poor oral hygiene game. Gentlemen, this goes for your teeth, this goes for your tongue, this goes for your breath, this also goes for your lips. Guys, you got to make sure you are going to the dentist regularly for cleanings and checkups every 6 months, all right? The whole idea is that he's going to help you remove the plaque, the grime, the gunk that builds up on your teeth that you are not getting by brushing, flossing, and using mouthwash on the regular basis, which you should be doing. Your lips, they shouldn't be all cracked and crusty and nasty, so just make sure they're soft, sexy, and supple and ready for action, all right? A little tip I will give you is before you go to bed, a little dab of Vaseline on your lips. It's the only way I have found to never, ever, ever have chapped lips. For whatever reason, it works. The truth is most lip balms that you're gonna find in the drugstore are like super cheap and low quality. And what happens is you use them momentarily, you're like, yo, my lips feel good. An hour later, you're like, yo, they're dry, I need more. Vaseline, before you go to bed, boom, knocks it out. You're good. But you're not good if you're doing number 7, which is nasty nails on your hands, also your feet. Gentlemen, nobody wants to look down at your paws and have them all nasty, and gnarled and bitten and cuticles all frayed and nasty. Also, your toes, your feet. Are you kidding me? Invest in a manicure kit, right? It's going to come with the appropriate tools that you're going to need to do the job. That job is to keep your hands and your nails on your feet looking sexy and smooth. Your teeth are not the option. The 8th biggest grooming don't is don't ever stink, all right? There are different areas of stink. We already talked about your mouth. Got to make sure that is straight. You also don't want to stink in terms of your pits. If you're not wearing a deodorant, you need to wear a deodorant that actually works, all right? The natural ones, not so much. Your balls, are they powdered? But you also may stink if you're making the 9th mistake, which is wearing too much. Wearing too much body spray, body spray. At this point, if you're still using body spray, I don't even know you. But you also shouldn't wear too much fragrance, even if that fragrance smells incredibly sexy, all right? And that is one of the big mistakes. A lot of people wear too much, right? Another thing that they use too much of is hair product. Guys, less is more. If you're using a ton of hair product to try and get it to do what it needs to do, you're using the wrong product. And last, but certainly not least, the 10th biggest grooming don't that I see is dudes rocking facial hair that aren't meant to be rocking facial hair yet. But I get it, right? You're a young dude, you start getting a little facial hair, little teen stash action, you're like, yo, I'm gonna let this grow in. No, don't let that grow in. Also, if you're super patchy, guys, the deal is trim it short. Do not let it get long, because a long, patchy beard looks thinner, looks worse, and you look scuzzy. And that's it, gentlemen. 10 of the biggest grooming don'ts that I still see a lot of dudes making. And the truth is, you are way too sexy, way too amazing to do any of these things. The truth is, grooming, being well groomed, is subjective. But if you're doing any of the 10 things we talked about, it's not. You're wrong.